My name is Matthew Chamberlain. I'm a family physician at Our Lady of Lake Hospital since 2001. So my wife's from Cutoff, Louisiana, which is a small town in South Louisiana that's almost basically south of New Orleans. She's been with me for now 13 years maybe, and we've been married for 10, going on 11. We have 2 children, Max and Jude. Max is 9 and Jude is 7. And they are part of the community here in Baton Rouge. They go to St. George Church and St. George School, which is right around the corner. And we've enjoyed growing up in that community. Both my kids are, I played baseball at LSU, both of them play baseball here, and I've been a coach in the community. I've coached for several years in a row now, both of their teams, which has been a big commitment, but has also been a blast, and met a lot of families that way. They're a lot of fun, and so are the other kids. They enjoy their school. We're active in the church. We do a lot of things in the church and out of the church with the St. George community. Plus, I grew up in another church called Healing Place Church, which is in town, and we do things through that church too. So it's a good way to keep in touch with my roots plus the new roots that my kids are forming. And we do a lot of activities with their friends on and off the field. So I've been here since 2001, and when I finished residency in Dallas, I came down here because of the job offer here, plus my family was here. My brother was here at the time, a lot of my old friends from school, and my parents were here as well. My brother has since moved on and has moved off. My parents still live here, and of course now I have a bunch of old and new friends now that I've been here for 15 years. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana since I was 12. I grew up north, actually, born in Cincinnati, lived in Pittsburgh, then Detroit. My dad was a chemical engineer and moved around. And then we ended up down here when I was 12 years old and have been here ever since. I chose to be a doctor when I went to college and had to choose a profession. My father recommended it. He's a chemical engineer, but thought he always should have been a doctor. And that's kind of how I got into it. When I was done with my baseball playing days, that was something I knew I'd want to do. And so I chose to become a doctor at that time, and then waited till school to decide whether or not to be a family doctor or some other type. And then when I was in medical school is when I decided to go into family medicine. So one of the things I liked about family medicine was the ability to kind of do a little bit of everything, taking care of the whole person, starting when they're young and carrying them through their lifetime. Also taking care of families, knowing the family members, not just the patient, but about how they interact with their family, about their family history, bringing that into the picture for their overall health and how important that is and can be for different patients. And also really enjoyed some of the family doctors who I worked with when I was in Shreveport in medical school, who I looked up to as a mentor at the time that I was in medical school. Well, when I first started in 2001-ish, it was different. There was definitely more time with patients. Of course, when you start, you're not as busy, because that's kind of the nature of the business. As you get known, you get more and more patients. But it was a little different. There was a lot less medicines out there for some of the chronic diseases than there are now. There was a lot less regulation as far as people who were trying to get doctors in things like pay for performance type things versus just paying for what you see. Plus, I think that the patients themselves weren't as complex, and people were living longer now. And it's much more difficult to deal with the whole patient than it was, I think, versus just 15 years ago. It's pretty amazing how that has been a difference. Today, a lot of it is, to be honest with you, from a primary care standpoint, is being able to deal more with prevention than just reactive medicine, because I'd like to do that more. It's very hard to get into a preventative talk with somebody when you're dealing with their diabetes, hypertension, high cholesterol, and all their medicines, and their foot pain, and their skin problem, all at one time, and you have 10 or 15 minutes with them. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. But then you might say, well, man, I wish I could have talked to him more about that. And I'd like the time to do it. I think it'd be better for the patients. I think they could learn a lot. I think that there's a definite educational gap sometimes from the doctor to the patient that is hard to cross without time and actually sitting down with somebody and going, hey, do you understand what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. Not, here's your medicines, I'll see you next time. And you don't want to do that every time. And there are times you can spend time with people, and sometimes you notice that difference. And so you wish you could do that for everybody. There may be a better way to do that. That's what I'm hoping for. So concierge medicine is when someone pays for your time, is what I would say, in addition to gets a service from you that is different than what they could get from regular service. So they're getting something above and beyond, or something that is more of value to them and of value to the person that's taking care of them as well. So for me, it means that I can sit down with somebody and spend more time with them like I'd like to. I think I can get better control of chronic disease states, and the patient can too. In turn, it's a partnership, not a dictatorship. It involves, the patient has to be involved as well as the doctor, or it doesn't work for most all disease processes, but especially for things like diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity. There's some things you can really get some headway on if you have some more time, and sometimes that doesn't happen. The other thing would be that I would want them to know them very well. So to get to know them in the full person, everything about them, have them able to say, hey, by the way, I have this going on, and talk to them about it, and not have to say, well, okay, we'll talk about that at another time, or put them aside, which is annoying, but sometimes necessary to get through your busy day. Well, I think it came down to being a better doctor, and being a better doctor for your patients. Not that you couldn't take care of illnesses before and understood medicine. I don't think that's it at all. I think it's a matter of treating the whole person, and not just being someone who itemizes what you're going to do and puts them in a box for that visit when you talk to them, but try to expand on those things into an area where you can say, hey, look, this might lead us into this area, but I'll have to talk to you about that next time. Instead, being able to actually address it at the time that it's at the forefront of both of you and the patient's minds to talk about these things. This is something you can give yourself value by doing, because people sometimes don't value themselves and their own health. They're willing to put that money into something else, but they're not willing to take care of themselves. This is a way to make more of a partnership, I think, where your doctor becomes your partner through this, rather than somebody who's just telling you what to do, or somebody you dread to go see because you're just going to go see him. He's going to tell you how you're not eating right and how you're not controlling your diabetes. This is a way to make it like, no, let's hit this thing head on together, and let's both make it better for both of us. For you, because obviously you're the patient, but also for us as our relationship moves forward, so that I can do things like, hey, look, let's be more preventative about this thing because we catch it sooner, or because we delved deeper into something going on that kept you from getting diabetes, or kept you from becoming kept your blood pressure from getting out of control, so you don't have a stroke, or just as one example. But I think that I think it's a lot of value to me in it, being able to not only have the person invested, but the doctor be able to spend more time and investing into you and learning more about you, because of the nature of, I don't have to know about 5,000 people, I may only have to know about a few hundred people, and I think it'll make a big difference. Personally, I think that there's a lot of benefit to being able to not push yourself to the grindstone, as many patients as you can get through as fast as you can, doing it over and over again. I haven't had any more than 2 days vacation in 15 years, okay? So that hasn't happened. So no more than 2 consecutive days off in 15 years, which can affect your family, affect your wife, affect your own attitude about medicine. So being able to actually have people who I can care for, that I know about, that enjoy my relationship as much as I enjoy talking to them, that I can spend some time away from them with my own family, just like they get to do with theirs, and be able to make it a more positive experience overall will make you that much more into the other people's health and wanting to help people. So I think that would help me a lot. The other, for personal, also for my family. So not only just for me, but for my family, and get some, watch my children grow up and not be at the office for 12 hours a day. I mean, 10 hours is, usually the understatement. We usually hear a lot longer than that. And all the extra stuff that the patients don't get to see behind the scenes of doing lab work and callbacks and all those things that take so much time. It's not just the time you're at the office, coming in early, leaving late, and doing those kind of things, charting and filling out the paperwork and all that kind of stuff that you hear about. It really takes its toll on you. So I think that if you could do that, you have a longevity that would be great, and could have a lot happier and long time being doctor. And I mean, I want my doctor to be happy if he's taking care of me, so you don't want a miserable doctor. And I don't want to be that person either. I don't want to become that way. So I think it's a good change for positive for both sides, and looking forward to it. And I think if you're willing to prioritize yourself, I want to prioritize you too. And so if I can help do that, that would make me happy. I think it'd be a great relationship, and I think that you'll be happy too if you would, or to you or anyone who would want to sign up. It would be a value-based service that I think that you would invest in yourself to get a good return on your investment.